All right, everyone. This is something that does actually concern me. I have let everyone know I am perpetually anti-war. If a war is not being fought directly and explicitly in defense, on behalf of one's nation or under, some auspices where a close ally has been attacked, they're going to be overrun, maybe subjugated or something. Other than that, I don't really believe in war. I don't believe in nation building. I don't believe in targeted strikes and things like that. So when I see Donald Trump optioning the concept of airstrikes in Venezuela and closing the airspace over Venezuela, that makes me a little bit nervous, actually. I would think that the current goal would be simply bullseye the cartel ships. Why not? The liberals will complain about it. So be it. They're going to complain about anything anyway. It doesn't really matter what Donald Trump does. If he takes a dump today, they're going to complain about the consistency of his shit. So he doesn't really have to worry about that. As far as targeting cartel ships, I support that. They're in international waters. They're being clearly directed by the Maduro regime. We know this. We've got the intel. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what's actually happening in this particular situation. Perfectly fine. But when you get to the point where you're conducting drone and/or aerial strikes on Venezuela proper, that becomes a bigger diplomatic issue. The problem is that if you're just targeting random cartel ships in the middle of the ocean, that's not an act of war. I mean, kind of, sort of, technically it is, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, but the Maduro regime would have to raise up and say, well, we sponsored that ship. You're not allowed to attack them. It's a national vessel, so to speak. I've noticed that Maduro has not done this. I wonder why. But if you decide to send drones into actual Venezuela, we can do it. It's possible. Physically feasible. Yes, we have much more air superiority and much, much more sea superiority. The maritime capabilities of the United States aren't even close to anything else in the world. We're capable of doing that. But just because you're capable of doing something doesn't mean that you should do it. When we went into Iraq, for example, and then you have the everything's fine moments and stuff like that. Their elite guard disappeared almost instantaneously. It took only a few days to grind them down into dust. That's great. Yeah, you won the battle, but you did not win the war. In the end, hundreds of thousands of people and tens of thousands of U.S. troops died. Oh, how wonderful. Yeah, I'm sure all of those families were so happy when their loved ones came back in caskets. Same with Afghanistan. Was it possible to overrun Afghanistan? Yeah, again, we did it in a few weeks. It wasn't even that difficult. Then you have Obama's troop surge, and the rest is history. In the end, did it profit us anything? No, it did not profit us. Did it liberate the Afghan people? No, they're under the control of the Taliban right now. So you know what? Fuck war. Fuck it in the ass. I do not want a war in Venezuela. Winnable in the general sense? Yes. It is possible for us to use our Air Force and our Navy, and certainly if we get the Marines involved, to overrun Maduro. Yeah, we can kill Maduro. We can drive him out. What the hell happens after that? Maduro gets replaced by another socialist. Even the entrenched opposition to Maduro, and this is the fact with many Latin American countries, even the opposition in exile are still socialists for the most part. You think that chick that was trying to unseat Maduro, you don't think that she follows socialism, generally speaking? It's just a softer version of it. It's like basically, hey, yeah, I'm going to still give you socialism, but it'll be a little bit more blunted. I'll probably get forced out of office as a result of this because you've all gotten addicted to welfare crack, and then somebody will blow my brains out. That's basically what you're dealing with Venezuela. There's not a whole lot of solutions. It's a communist country. Um, by the way, don't even bother using the term socialist. It's just a communist country. They are communists. The opposition there is communism light. It's equivalent to like Bernie Sanders or something like that. I would rather shoot you less. That's basically the only improvement. I would like to shoot less people in order to organize the things that I want to do with the economy. That's literally the only difference with Venezuela. There is no capitalistic front, for example, there. You're not going to find a Rand Paul in Venezuelan politics. By now, all of these people have been killed or imprisoned. So the fact is, you can get mild improvement. That's basically all you can get. But we need to do it in the diplomatic sense. I understand the hesitance to avoid targeting the cartels because they are centrally organizing there with the will of the Venezuelan government. So be it. Well, then just bullseye their ships when they're on their way here. Well, the drugs never got to the country. We blew them all up. I would think that this was a perfect solution. Also, it's 10,000 times cheaper. So I would suggest that the Trump administration should simply stay with the status quo. It's already riled up the liberals. They're already up in arms. Oh my God, you might be killing innocent people. Yeah, people with 10,000 pounds of cocaine are on the ship. I'm sure that those are not cartel members. That was just their own private stash. I mean, just ask Mitch McConnell. He had $100 million worth of cocaine on his yacht one time. For some reason, nobody actually asked any questions about how it got there. I wonder who was snorting it. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. This happens over and over and over again. But open war with Venezuela, unless Venezuela physically attacks us, which is never gonna fucking goddamn happen. They don't have the capability to do so. They can't even take on a couple of US aircraft carriers. So, keeping that in mind, unless they do that, there's really no reason to have a land force go in, airstrikes, drone strikes, anything like that, because we're so capable of taking out the ships that are coming into the United States, it doesn't really make a difference now, does it? Okay, this cartel ship has like 500 pounds of pure fentanyl on it. Now, all the people aboard are probably dead by then because they accidentally opened a bag and sniffed it. So they're gone. The drugs are gone. There's no reason to have war. It makes absolutely no sense. I would tell the Trump administration again, don't do it. This is a bad idea. It will alienate you from some of your core fan base, including myself, by the way, because I am so anti-war. It will alienate you from parts of your core fan base. It will not be productive. And you're already doing something productive. The strikes on the ships are perfectly fine. No reasonable American really has a problem with bullseyeing some drug shipments. I don't care. Go ahead and kill them. It makes no difference to me. But if you go into Venezuela physically, it creates so many problems without any clear solutions that it doesn't really make any sense at all. I don't even know why it's being optioned, honestly. This is probably, if Trump goes through with this will be one of the big mistakes of his administration. I have repeatedly defended Trump, even at times where he did things that I said, you kind of like you lean against it and stuff like that. I have repeatedly defended the administration. But if you begin an open war with fucking Venezuela of all places, I'm not going to defend that. I'm not going to be able to, not in good conscience. I can say, yeah, okay, you're being successful, and I'm sure that we would be, but what the hell is the point? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever under the sun. That's about all. Peace out.